Hey guys, YouTube 100 here. Alright, now here I am continuing with the Steven Spielberg reviews, and now here I am with a review for The Terminal. So, really, this is a Steven Spielberg movie that I really don't hear people really talking about. I mean, yeah, this is just a film that seemed to just come and go. This just didn't really seem to really be one of Steven Spielberg's films that really does stand out. But yeah, this is a film that I did want to talk about because it's an interesting film. I actually didn't had no idea that this really was a Steven Spielberg film. I did see this film in the theater back when it was first released, and but yeah, I really haven't really gone back to really watch this film in its entirety, at least since then. And yeah, but yeah, this is actually a pretty good movie. I actually really did enjoy it. I think this is one of Steven Spielberg's more underrated films. Yeah, it just is yeah, I actually do really like the what this film does. Really what it's all about is just how it is just a is a foreigner who's just in sort of a crisis at the airport because apparently because of what's going on in his country and because of a war that's going on, apparently his country really is not valid for him to actually uh, enter the U.S. Yes, and so yeah, what? And so yeah, so because he can't enter the U.S., he also can't return home either. So what it is basically he's just stuck in the airport for 9 months. And so, but yeah, yeah, it actually does do this pretty good. I mean, it is a relatively simple story, but yeah, they actually do a pretty good job with it. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's yeah, in this film, of course, like I just said, that Tom Hanks in this film he plays a foreign man, and then he's come to the U.S. But yeah, he can't actually legally enter the country, and so yeah, he's just that's ends up being stuck in the airport and it's just every time he tries to go he doesn't really give up hope in trying to actually enter the country. There are times in this film where the the uh where the the customs director of the airport is really trying to get him to actually illegally enter the country to have him arrested because he's just tired of him. But yeah, he still doesn't actually enter the country, and he still is insistent on really coming actually entering. So yeah, he just ends up sticking around and just stays in the terminal for all this time. And then yeah, by the end of this film, of course, he actually does finally enter the country, and he does what he came to do. So yeah, but yeah, like I said, this film just really does do the story actually pretty good. Well, like I said, while it is a relatively simple story, you what actually does go on in this film, it actually really does make this really work, and it really just does make it us. It does really do a good job of keeping people invested into it. I really do like what it does. I just like how while he's in the airport and just really stuck in there, he ends up befriending a lot of other workers in the airport. So yeah, yeah. So it just shows while he is foreigner, it just shows how many people he ends up befriending, and it even shows at the end when he finally does enter how many people really have really become attached to him. So yeah, it really is a pretty good film and really does a good job of showing the example here for Tom Hanks' character. Yeah. So yeah, this film has a cast of Tom Hanks, of course. It has a Catherine Zeta-Jones, Stanley Tucci, Chi McBride, uh, and also has a Diego Luna, and Zoe Saldana's in the movie, Eddie Jones, and of course Benny Golson also does make an appearance in this film, and this is who Tom Hanks' character is actually coming to America for. So yeah, and yeah, like I said, while it is like a relatively simple story, like what they actually do in this film, it actually does just make it work like so well, and really just while this could have been like something that could just been really boring with just like the guy waiting in the terminal and just really like just not doing anything, just like really like just you would figure like if this would happen like in real life at some point like if there was somebody like in a situation Tom Hanks' character is in this movie, you figure eventually he would actually finally get tired of it and just actually you try to actually like go into the city, like he would finally just like say to hell with it, and then he would break the law. But here, like Tom Hanks' character is just like really insistent and he doesn't really give up. So yeah, I do like that about this film. So yeah, overall, it is a pretty good film, I think, and I really do think that it really does deserve some more recognition. I would give this film, I would probably give it at least 3.5 stars out of 4. I mean, I really do like the film, and I really don't know why I really haven't gone back to really watch this film in its entirety ever since it was released in the theater, because, yeah, I did like it when I saw it in the theater, so I'm not really sure why I really haven't gone back to really watch it. But yeah, if you haven't seen it before, I would recommend it. Like, I would say check it out. Like, yeah, Tom Hanks just does really, really good in this film. I mean, yeah, he really just does a great job as well, a foreigner. Yeah, because yeah, he's like in some like his character in this film, Victor Navorsky, is from like a fictional country known as Krakosia, and yeah, he actually does a good job of putting up like a foreign type of accent, and so yeah, and I guess like since like Krakosia isn't like a real country, they could have really just like come up with it, come up with everything on their own, like what like words mean in the language and like what kind of accent that he puts on. So yeah, I actually do like that they kind of did like get to play along with it and kind of just like come up with everything from this country on their own. Like it's kind of similar to what I liked about Jurassic Park 3, how they could like totally create the film entirely from scratch. Yeah, here like it's kind of a similar thing, how they could really just come up with everything about the country from totally scratch and just make like everything on their own. So yeah, I actually do like that they can really play around with it like that. So yeah, really clever concept with that. So yeah, overall I do like the film and I would recommend it for anybody that hasn't seen it before. Alright, so yeah, let me just get right into the premise of the film. So the film opens up in John F. Kennedy International Airport in New York, and yeah, it shows like everybody that's like every international traveler is going through customs, and eventually Victor Navorsky, who's played by Tom Hanks, as he's going through customs, I was like his passport wasn't going through the system, and then eventually like airport, all the custom security, he was just telling him that like his passport isn't valid because of his country of Krakosia. Hujia isn't actually recognized by the United States as a sovereign nation because of a war that's going on in the country, and he can't actually legally enter the country or return home, and he's now considered stateless. And so, then the temporary customs director, Frank Dixon, then just told the Victor here that he can actually, while he can't actually enter the country, he can actually go down to just yeah, he can actually go through the terminal and just stay in here until further notice. Yeah, and so they ended up taking away his return ticket and passport, and yeah, they just refer to the terminal as the International Transit Lounge, which yeah, they told him that he could like go all around there and just stay there for the time being, and they also like gave him some stuff to just like make it more convenient for him. Like they gave him a card to like have like a 15-minute phone call and they gave him like a vouch passes for the food court, and yeah, just yeah, they just and they also like told him that the doors like actually like are exit out to New York City. It was like forbidden, and they just like told him that New York City is closed. Yeah. Yeah. And then, yeah, like I said, like throughout the film, it was just like showing him like doing a bunch of stuff inside of the terminal. Like it showed that throughout the film, like he was like constantly attempting to apply for a visa, but the officer that was working the visa station or whatever you want to call it, who was played by Zoe Saldana, kept denying his application. Yeah, and he also like ended up like befriending some other workers in the airport. Like there was the janitor in there, and yeah, there was also like some food workers and yeah, just like other like people that worked like different departments and some of the shops inside of the terminal. Yeah, throughout the film, he just like ended up like befriending them, and then yeah, at one point as he was and then yeah, during the night as he like was sleeping by a gate, and then it was funny like as he was like starting to lie down to go to sleep, it showed like a plane then approaching, and it just like scared him, and he like put his hands up, going, "Don't shoot!" Yeah, yeah, I just found that funny. And then yeah, and also like throughout the film, um, Dixon was actually like trying to actually get Victor to actually like step out into New York and leave the terminal legally so he can be arrested, so they can like be rid of him. But yeah, like I said, like Victor just like was not leaving the airport, and he also eventually ended up like coming across as a flight attendant, Amelia Warren, and who was played by Catherine Zeta-Jones, and it showed that he actually like did fall for Amelia, and throughout the film, like he ended up trying to woo her. Yeah, and then yeah, there was a funny bit in this film where like eventually Victor then came across like a machine for cart returns in the terminal. When every time like a cart ended up being returned to like that machine, and ended up dispensing a quarter for the person that returned it, and then he eventually ended up like placing in 3 carts at once, and it gave him like 75 cents, and then yeah, he used the money to like buy food from the food court from Burger King. And yeah, at first like he just ended up getting a small hamburger with the 75 cents that he had, and then he just gathered up a whole bunch of carts, and then yeah, then like dispensed a whole crap load of quarters for him, and then yeah, then he used that to just like get a full meal from Burger King with like a Whopper and fries and a drink and a piece of pie, yeah, and all that stuff. Yeah. Yeah, and also like throughout the film, it like showed like on TVs through the news of like what like his country Carcosa was actually going through currently. Yeah, yeah, and then one of the workers in the terminal who was like, I think he was like one of the food workers in the terminal. He also like was using a Victor to just like send messages as of love, like trying to win over Officer Torres. And then yeah, he was just like sending messages through Victor to her. Yeah, Victor would always like keep like trying to apply for visas, which kept getting denied. But he also like ended up delivering messages to Officer Torres in the process. And then yeah, there was like one scene in the film that was like really good. This was like it showed like there was a guy that like came from like some sort of a Russian property or something. And like he was like trying to get some prescription pills to take home with him, and like he was like speaking a foreign language like Russian or something, and yeah, they couldn't actually look, and they brought in Victor to actually like try to understand like what the guy was actually saying. And at first like Victor was like hearing that like the guy was like trying to take the medicines back home for his father, but yeah, the medicines couldn't be permitted to actually be taken with the guy for his father, or without any actual confirmation from the hospital that his father was in. And then yeah, as they were trying to actually take the guy away, and keep the pills. Then like Victor then like said that he misunderstood what the guy was saying, and then he actually like said that the medicine was for goat. Oh, then like if it's for an animal, then there's no confirmation needed, and so then then the guy then eventually then admitted that the medicine was for goat, and then they then allowed the guy to take the pills home with him. Yeah, and then eventually like Victor ended up like being um hired by a contractor after like he ended up remodeling a wall that was actually scheduled for future renovation, and and then he eventually then like was talking to Amelia again, and then he was just like telling her that he was a building contractor who was frequently traveling to try to like keep his real situation like under wraps from her. I'm sure, and then eventually then he ended up taking Amelia on a date inside of the terminal. And then it also showed that throughout the film it shows like Victor is actually like carrying around a Planters peanut can, and then after Dixon then like was talking to Amelia and then just questioning if she knows like his true situation, which he admitted to Amelia. Then Amelia then confronted Victor about his true situation. Then he showed her that inside of that can he actually had a copy of A Great Day in Harlem photograph, and that his father was actually a jazz enthusiast who actually had the famous portrait of in a Hungarian newspaper, and he actually vowed to collect the 57 autographs of the musicians featured on it. And before he could actually get the last, he actually died before he could get the last one, which was from Benny Golson, and then that's actually what Victor had actually come to New York to do. And then eventually after 9 months of being stuck in the terminal, then eventually everybody then just told Victor that the war in Krakozia ended, and Amelia then was able to get Victor a one-day emergency visa to go into New York to get the autograph from a friend of hers that actually was a married government official that she had an affair with. But then, it also showed that she also ended up renewing her relationship with him in the process. That's which, of course, disappointed Victor. And then once he finally took the visa to finally get approved, like it then showed that it had actually had to be signed by Dixon in order for it to actually be official. And then, of course, then Victor then went up to Dixon's office and told him about the war ending, and Dixon then told Victor that he now has full commission of the airport, and he gave Victor his ticket and passport back to go home. But Victor was still insistent on going to New York City, and so then till like Lou make Victor agree to go back home. Like Dixon then threatened to cause trouble for a lot of the people Victor's befriended, like departing Gupta back to India for murder charges, and then of course Victor wasn't gonna allow that to happen, so then he agreed to return home. But then after Gupta found out about it, then to give Victor some more time, he ended up running in front of an airplane that was taxiing to the terminal that resulted in him being deported, and also delaying a lot of flights, and so then that ended up buying Victor more time to go into the city to get the autograph. And then it then showed everybody in the terminal then just being amazed that Victor was going to go into the city. And Dixon then had security stand guard right in front of the exit doors, but then then the security guards then actually backed off and then allowed Victor to actually leave the airport. And then, yeah, Victor then took a taxi to the Ramada Inn that Benny Golson was performing at. And then, yeah, he then spoke to Benny Golson and talked to him about, like his father or being a jazz enthusiast and stuff, and asking for the autograph. And then it then just showed him Victor just watching a Benny Golson play for a minute, and then it then showed him exiting the hotel with the autograph. And then he went and he called for another taxi, and then when he got in, he just told the driver, "I am going home." And then, yeah, then the movie just ended by showing the taxi and then just driving off. So, oh yeah, and that's how it ended. So, yeah, like I said, it is a pretty good movie. Like, while it is a very simplistic story overall, well, they do like a lot of stuff to really keep it interesting enough that really does make the movie really good. So, like I said before, if you haven't seen it, check it out. I know that I really didn't go into too much depth in this review, but yeah, there was kind of like a lot to talk about with the film that is kind of like sort of like just, while it is like a very simplistic story, it's just like most of the stuff I talked about is just like some stuff that goes on. Like, if you want to like see like the whole like concept of the movie or like the whole premise of it, yeah, you can actually put it on and just see like how much stuff that really does go on. Because I didn't really want to make this like a 30-minute review. I just wanted to try to keep it like stick to the main story while I'm still like trying to go into like the stuff that he does while he's stuck in the terminal. So yeah, hopefully this review did work out for you guys. So if you haven't seen the film before, check it out. Like I said, 3.5 stars out of 4 is what I would give it. Alright, so yeah, I guess that's all I can really say about it. So yeah, so this does it for my review of The Terminal. So I hope you guys did enjoy this review. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.